All right, so if you've been with me for any amount of time, you've seen this map before. And this is not something that is made up by some guy that nobody knows. This comes up when you type in new United States Navy maps. You get a map of America partially flooded, right? You see the West Coast and the East Coast flooded, then you see the line in the middle, which is the exact line from the April 8th eclipse that was very popular last year on the 8th, which was the 99th day of the year. That's amazing, right? Because think about that, right? The 99th day of the year, 99 is rapture, judgment, ascension, new moon. So this says the future map of the United States by Gordon Michael Matrix Institute. Get it? Matrix, the Matrix. Now, there are a lot of things about the map, but one of the things that I wanted to point out to you is the number connection. Of course, numbers, right? Now, you see that line through the middle of the United States, which was the April 8th eclipse line, okay, last year, 2024, and that was the 99th day of the year last year. Now, we know that the numerical value of rapture is 99 and judgment, okay? Now, another connection that I want to make with the rapture and judgment and this flood is the 666 connection. Now, the words, as I've shown before, America flooded in English, gematria equals 666. Dragon flood is 666. And Navy maps is 666. Come on, guys. That's crazy, right? America flooded, Dragon flood, and Navy maps equals 666. All of them in the same type of gematria? What in the world is going on? But the dragon flood comes from Revelation 12. After the man-child is caught up, that's us, then the serpent, the dragon, goes after the woman and casts a flood out of his mouth. Now, this is a localized flood. It's not all the earth. We know that God said he's not going to flood the earth again, but this is a local flood. So it's not an whole earth flood. So this is going to happen. But my point is that how rapture equals 99 and judgment equals 99, and this happens at the rapture, I believe. The connection is the 666 because of what it equals. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. There's our key. There's our connector to all those terms and 666 and the rapture. Why? Because what is 18? Mirror it and add it. 18 plus 81 is 99. Which again, there's our immediate connection to this flood and the rapture and 666 and judgment at the same time. That was the connection that I wanted to show you guys. Here is some writing on the map. In the early 1980s, spiritual visionaries and futurists provided clues to our changing planet. Yeah, which that's through witchcraft and sorcery that they get this information, okay? Often dismissed as crazy prophets, their thought for a new world were quickly ignored and laughed at. Gordon Michael Scallion was a futurist, teacher of consciousness studies and metaphysics, witches and warlocks and wizards and narcissists. Yeah, that's a good one too. And, name it all. Metaphysics and a spiritual visionary in the 80s, he claims to have had a spiritual awakening that helped him create very detailed maps of future world, all stemming from a cataclysmic pole shift. That's what I've been talking about, how when the rapture happens, it probably is going to be a pole shift. Everything in the north comes to the south, and things from the south go to the north. It's a pole shift. What's up comes down, and what's down goes up. Okay, it's like the rapture. The result, well, not based on any science, yes, it is, nonetheless provides a vivid and compelling picture of an Earth ravaged by flooding. So yeah, this is true. Okay, and they even made that movie Evan Almighty, and they even told you the date that this was gonna happen, and what happened. It was a dam breakage, and he had to build this ark like Noah's Ark, And they said it was going to happen on 9/22. You have to have the ark ready by 9/22, which is the Feast of Trumpets this year, 2025.
Dry, hot weather will continue
until September 22nd, midday. And if the ark isn't finished by then, you will be.
Is that when it's going to happen? September 22nd, midday? High temperatures tomorrow back into the 90s everywhere right on through Tuesday.
And then it was a local flood, just like the map is. It's a big flood, but it's localized. It's not the whole earth. Just like in Evan Almighty, it was a local flood. But they're showing you, man. It's all connected, man. And they're showing you. And they don't tell you the truth in these articles. You know, they tell you partial truth. You know, they don't tell you the witchcraft and the sorcery and the mechanics and the mechanisms that they actually use to get this information, because it would be frowned upon and illegal. But, you know, this is real stuff. That's why it's from the Matrix Institute, because they astro project and they do their things and whatever, and they get this information from the Matrix.
Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends.
That is the popular band Green Day. Billy Joe singing "Wake Me Up When September Ends." And then he says, "The innocent can never last." Oh, September, like in Evan Almighty. The ark has to be finished by September 22nd, the Feast of Trumpets. Yeah, folks, it's going down this year, man. Now, going back to the pole shift, which is the rapture and the flooding. Check this out. It equals 110 in simple gematria. Why is that absolutely incredible? Because what is 110? Well, first, 110 is the number 46. And that's amazing because that is 20 plus 26 for 2026. We've been through all this in my other videos. Psalm 46, picture of Jacob's trouble. Isaiah 46, fall of Babylon, right, for 2026. And then the Jews said it took them 46 years to build the temple. And Jesus said, my body is the temple, and body equals 46. Right? So all this pointing to 2026. But how is pole shift 46? Because you mirror it and add it to itself, 46 plus 64, and you get 110, folks. Now, what other number is 110? It's 37. 37 is a numerical value for the word wisdom, and God created everything through his wisdom, Proverbs 3:19. And if you've been with me for a while, you know the number 3773. So you add 37 to itself, mirrored 3773, and you get 110. Now, so that's pole shift, 110. And that's 37 plus 73. Now, is there a way to connect 3773 to the Feast of Trumpets? Because if we can, then that connects 110 and pole shift to the Feast of Trumpets this year. Well, here it is, folks. Feast of Trumpets, 923, right? Well, add it, mirror it, and add it to itself, 329, which equals 1252. Now add that to itself, backwards, mirrored, 2521 equals 3773. Thank you very much. There's your connection with pole shift to 110 and the Feast of Trumpets. 3773, connecting it. Okay, let me explain to you what we just did one more time real quick. So pole shift in simple gematria equals 110, which is 37 plus 73, the mirror, right? Now, my point was, how can we connect pole shift to the Feast of Trumpets this year? Well, we do that by 3773. If you take the date of the Feast of Trumpets this year, 923, and add it to its mirror, 329, you get 1252. Then you add 1252 to its mirror, 2521, and you get 3773. That is the connection between the pole shift and the Feast of Trumpets this year. And you ain't gonna hear that nowhere else but this channel. I've shown this one before, but you gotta show these things over and over and over because they're just too amazing. So I hope you're holding your socks on. In the biblical story, Daniel, a Jewish exile in Babylon, you know the prophet Daniel, interprets a dream of King Nebuchadnezzar, revealing the rise and fall of empires and the ultimate reign of God, leading Nebuchadnezzar to acknowledge the power of Daniel's God. And Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar became homies. Okay? Now that's interesting, right? Daniel, prophet of God, became a homie to the king of Babylon, right? Interesting. Anything's possible with God, right? But here it is. I mean, you can't even make up something like this. Now, here it is. The name Nebuchadnezzar and Donald J. Trump have the exact same geometric value. Not close. It's not one number off. It's exact. The king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, and well, who's Donald J. Trump? He's the king of Mystery Babylon, isn't he? How is this possible? I mean, it's synchronicity. God is showing us in numbers exactly where we're at and who is who. Now, I just showed you something that's pretty much impossible. It's like even more impossible than hitting the lotto, right? I mean, the lotto, at least you have a chance. Something like this, there would be like no chance of that happening, but I'm going to make it even more impossible because I'm going to link Daniel into all of this too. Daniel's name equals 45. What's 45, everybody? We all know this. 45 is 20 plus 25, 2025. Half of 45 is 22.5. And 45 times 45 is 2025. And here we are with Donald Trump in 2025. And his name is the exact geometric value of Nebuchadnezzar, which was with Daniel. And Daniel was 45, leading us to this year. Like I said, you would have a better chance of winning the lottery than this happening. Also, remember when you're talking about the Feast of Trumpets, you're talking about usually a 3-day festival. So this year it's September 22nd to 24th. So the predictive programming and the dates all are hitting September 22nd and September 23rd. And I found some very interesting things for September 24th as well in Gematria. Alien Apocalypse equals 924 in English Gematria. That's interesting because how this whole alien thing is going to be used and stuff. Sometimes I wonder if they're going to call the people on Earth doing miracles for God aliens, right? And maybe pit the world against them, or it's going to play out somehow, right? Or they're going to say that aliens took us in the rapture. The words church harvest equal 924 in English Gematria. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now, something that I found absolutely interesting is that today in the Bible, our modern King James Bible, we have 66 books. But there used to be 80 books. So they took out 14 books called the Apocrypha, which means hidden or secret, right? Now, if you take 66 books that we have today and multiply it by the 14 they took out, check this out. 924. What? That's crazy, right? Another 924. That's the Feast of Trumpets. And the interesting thing is how old was Rebecca when she married Isaac and went into the tent, like the tents of heaven? She was 14, and that's a picture of the church and Jesus. The church being Rebecca, and the church, the Paul's gospel was hidden. It was a mystery, just like the 14 books. Now check this out. This is totally crazy. All the days of the Feast of Trumpets, 922 to 924, you can do this with. So you multiply it 9 times 2 times 4, you get 72. And again, add it to its mirror. 72 plus 27 is 99. Rapture and judgment and new moon. And you're able to do it with 923 and 922 as well. These all land on these certain key numbers like 54 and 36 and 72, that if you add its mirror to itself, they all equal 99. I mean, are you guys seeing this? And as we know, 99 is rapture, judgment, ascension, and new moon. I mean, what are the odds of this? Again, hitting the lotto. Then you take 923 and you do 92 times 3, which is 276, which if you scramble it is 726. Harpazo in the Strong's Concordance Greek, which is caught up, what we usually call the rapture. What are the odds of that? All right, we're switching gears to 88. Now, the singularity, you've heard Elon Musk talk about it. This is the abomination that causes desolation. The singularity merging with machines by 2045, but that's not true because Elon Musk is saying that this happens in 2025 of all years, right? Kurzweil envisions the singularity as the point when AI surpasses human intelligence, not just in processing power, but in creativity, emotional understanding, and problem solving. By 2045, it's actually 2025, he predicts we'll see the lines between humans and machines begin to blur. The abomination of desolation is not some man-made temple that God is calling his temple. There is no man-made temple that God calls his temple. The human body is the temple of God. And some of you guys might say, well, it's only the Christians. No, it's more complex than that, and I'll prove it. God equals 26 in simple gematria, okay? And Yahweh, the letters for God's name, YHVH, equal 26 as well in gematria. All right, and number 26 is love in the concordance agape, which God is love. Now, there are 206 bones in every human body, not just Christians, and 20 plus 6 is 26. Okay, and 6 times 20, or 20 times 6, is 120, and 120 in the concordance is man. The human body is the temple of God. Now, God might not be in every temple, but they are temples, every human body. And when singularity happens, the dragon comes down, this spiritual, if you want to call it, power, we have to be out of here. That is the abomination that causes desolation. This is what it is talking about in the Bible. When the man of sin sits in the temple of God. God doesn't dwell in any man-made temple by hands. Now, the seat of your soul is your pineal gland. That's where the seat, get its seat, the Antichrist, sits in the temple of God. And pineal, your third eye, equals 53. Remember Jacob, he wrestled with the angel of the Lord, with God at Peniel. Okay, he's showing you. And then we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And what is 53? 53 plus its mirror, 35, is 88. Remember the DeLorean, you got to go 88 miles an hour. Okay, Trump is 88. Exodus is 88. Donnie Darko, Donnie, get it, says the world ends at 88. Now look at this, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Get it? 5:3, 53. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. I mean, what are the odds? And 2025 was declared the year of peace and trust. Peace and safety. Then remember the number 26 we just went over? Well, 26 plus its mirror, 62. 88. Remember, God equals 26, Yahweh equals 26. And not only that, but every single one of us, not just Christians, because the body is the temple of God, have the name Yahweh in our DNA, which equals 26. 10565. That is the bridges in everyone's DNA, because that's the true temple of God. Am I saying that everybody's saved? No, I'm not saying that. Obviously not. But the body, the human body, was built the same way since Adam. We're all descendants of Adam. Physics, a theoretical point in space-time where gravity is so intense that space and time break down. This is where all known physical laws no longer exist. Technological singularity. The technological singularity is a hypothetical future event where technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible.
The advent of artificial general intelligence is called the singularity for a reason, because just like a black hole, which is a singularity, it's difficult to predict what will happen. So it's not as though the advent of AGI is necessarily bad, but it's bad as one of the possible outcomes.
And when is singularity in the definition of Ray Kurzweil going to happen?
Well, I think you're saying he's predicting 2025. I think that's reasonably accurate.
Godhead, get it, head and brain equal the exact same thing, 44 in simple gematria. You have to remember, this is showing us something. The Godhead, right, is like if your brain was full of God, right? So you would be having the mind of Christ completely. And this has to do with being single with Christ, singularity. That's why Jesus said, if thine eye be single, then your body is full of light. Now, what eye do you think he's talking about? He's talking about pineal, the third eye, guys, the mind's eye. That's where you communicate with God. You see that? If thine eye be single, then the body is full of light. Now, what is going to happen when the devil, that dragon, is cast down to earth is that it's going to infiltrate people's minds. Just like we're going to have the mind of Christ fully when we're, I guess you could say, glorified. Well, they're going to have the mind of the devil fully, the mind of Satan. And you guys have to understand, this has never been done before like this. Okay, that's what Jesus said, that there's going to be a time like there never was or never will be again. Okay, because this is it. This is the end. That's why Godhead has the exact same value as brain. Godhead. Head. Get it? Brain. Get it? And then 44 plus 44 is 88. Oh, buddy.
Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
Dr. Monotov.
Donnie.
I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, but do you know anything about time travel?
Hey, call me, okay?
A wormhole with an Einstein-Rosen bridge, which is theoretically a wormhole in space controlled by man.
So in order to travel back in time, you have to have a big spaceship or something that can travel faster than the speed of light.
Theoretically.
And be able to find one of these wormholes.
The basic principles of time travel are there. You've got your vessel and your portal, and your vessel can be just about anything, most likely a spacecraft.
Like a DeLorean.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. That is when the world will end.
My team reporters babble Trump, get a crop, look at that, no planes. Tell me what's the
Also in the movie Donnie Darko, you just saw a clip of, get it, Donnie, Donald. The numbers don't just add up to 88. If you add them singly, 2 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2, you get 25. Again, alluding to 2025. And don't forget that Donald means world ruler. Also, when Donnie Darko is talking about time travel and time machines with the teacher, he picks up this cup, which is next to the magazine talking about the Big Bang and black holes. But the cup is the same color as the color of Microsoft, the Apple Computers logo. The fruit, get it, the fruit with the bite out of it with the 6 colors of the rainbow. Fruit of the Spirit. Get it? Just like fruit, different colors. The Spirit, that's what the fruit is that you're not supposed to eat of. This knowledge, right? But again, it has to do with color too. And they put that cup there for that reason. That's why it's the same color as the fruit from Apple Computers. An apple is a fruit, and there's a bite in it. Get it? Fruit of the Spirit, fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Oh, time travel, wormholes. The first Apple computer, the Apple One, or I'm not sure, was sold for $666.66 in July 1976. And the word computer equals 666, which is the number of the beast, which is the number of a man. Oh, the knowledge of good and evil. In John 21:11, the 153 fish caught by the disciples after Jesus' resurrection is often interpreted as a symbol of the fullness of God's plan for the world, or all nations responding to the gospel invitation. Look at that word, fullness. That means a completion of time, just like the fullness of the Gentiles in Romans 11:25. Remember that? The number 153 being a large quantity suggests a bountiful and complete harvest, symbolizing the potential for a widespread and successful ministry of Jesus. 153 is an amazing number, and it's highly prophetic, and let me show you why. 15 times 3 is 45, which takes us or leads us directly to 20 plus 25 for the year 2025. Then you can take 1 plus 5, which is 6, and carry the 3, get 63, and then add it to its mirror. 63 plus 36 is 99, which is rapture and judgment and ascension. And you can do it any way you want, and you get the same thing. Add the 5 and the 3, you get 8, and then carry the 1 down to make 18. And add 18 to its mirror, 81, you also get 99. Any way you cut it. So 153 is showing us 2025, and it's showing us 99 for rapture, judgment, and ascension. And of course, what the story is about is prophecy for the rapture, the 153 large fish harvest. The words big fish harvest in simple gematria equal 153. What are the odds, you guys? What are the odds? Come on, man. That's crazy. What I see is that these numbers are tailor-made to fit each other certain ways to show us things. Watch this one. If you take 153 for the 153 fish, divided by the value of rapture and judgment, which is 99, you get 1.54545454 45. Either way you look at it, however you want to look at it, but 45 is 2025. Do you see that? 153 fish divided by 99, which is rapture and judgment. You get a bunch of 45s for 2025. And 45 times 45 is 2025 as well. Too perfect.